In this episode of Rich in Relationship, what gets in the way of building a life and a business together? You start a family together. Why? Because you're trying to create something together, not just a family, a future together, a future for you, a future for your children. And some of you also start a business together because you're trying to create something for your family through the business. You're trying to expand the joy of your marriage through working together. It's not just about income. It's something bigger, a life, a family, a future, a shared vision. And in the beginning, that's super exciting. Late nights, not a sacrifice. They feel like fun, possibility. You're dreaming together, you're planning together, you're building together. Couples with families create a way of life together to nurture themselves and their children. If you're an entrepreneurial couple, work isn't just work, it's an extension of that way of life. It's a creation. But over time, something starts to shift. The business grows, responsibilities multiply, kids enter the picture, employees show up. Little by little, the creative process that once connected you starts becoming a management process. Instead of creating, you're coordinating, you're handling, you're managing, you're solving. On the surface, it looks like normal life pressure, but underneath, it seems like something else is happening. But you don't have time to look underneath because you are grinding at this point. You're managing the kids. If you're working together, you're managing the business and the kids. If you're working separately, you got a lot of plates spinning in the air. It is a grind, not a hustle, all right? Let's be really clear. When you're hustling, you're building something. When you're grinding, you're just keeping everything going, keeping the balls in the air. And what happens is your partnership slowly stops being organized around co-creation and it becomes organized around function or operations. It becomes transactional. I'll do this if you do that. Get it done, grind. Let me make this real. I worked with a couple recently who built a successful company. They're married, happy family, also work together. They had good revenue, they had good people, they had a strong reputation, but privately, when they took a second to breathe, maybe in the shower, they felt a little disconnected. Not because they were fighting, because they were so busy, they didn't really have time for that kind of fight, because they felt like they were living parallel lives, like coworkers instead of partners. And this can happen whether you're working together or not, but if you're working together, it's amplified. And every conversation sounded the same. Did you pay the taxes? Who's making dinner? Whose turn is it to pick up the kids? Did you call in payroll? Can you handle that email? Eventually, one of them said, I miss us. Not intimacy, just us. What they missed was the version of them that used to dream together. I've seen this across parents and entrepreneurial couples. Different businesses, different personalities, same breakdowns. Because what looks like a marriage problem or a burnout problem usually isn't. It's a co-creation problem. And honestly, my marriage isn't perfect either. My wife and I had this experience recently ourselves. We realized we had slipped back into grind mode. We were getting things done. We were checking the boxes. We were managing life, but something felt off. A clue? We barely had our calendars in sync, much less time alone together. It was a source of constant friction and blame. I told you about that. What do you mean you don't have that calendared? It was like that. And forget about special time together. We still had date night, but even date night was tense. Date night, we would find ourselves talking about work instead of how we were feeling. And that's not date night, right? When you're dating, you don't go there to talk about work. You see, operating together and creating together, they are not the same thing. Our why, me and my wife, it was never productivity. It was co-creation. It was growth. It was growing together through our family and through our work. And it's right here in this branch life choice where things start costing people. They get more focused on getting things done and there's less dreaming. They get more focused on checking the boxes and there's less laughter. They get more focused on the bottom line and there's less us. Not that you can't have both. It's just when you give up one for the other, something's off. This isn't a workload problem. It's a prosperity problem. And by prosperity, I mean joy. Not just happiness, joy. Learning to savor one another, even under stress. Do you know what I'm talking about there? Like Maybe one of you has suffered a setback, lost a parent even, and yet you can be in that moment together, that loss, that grief, whatever it is, the hurt, together and savor the support and the closeness that you feel in that moment. That's joy. It's not happy, it's joy. It's the joy of knowing this relationship, the relationship is 100%, it's working. It's not a transaction. You see, prosperity isn't just material. That's the current or the drift of the culture. Don't let it hook you. It's emotional, it's relational, it's creative. What do I mean by creative? I mean anything that you're making. If you're making dinner, it's creative. If you're playing an instrument, it's creative. If you're writing a letter, it's creative. If you're building a life together, it's creative. So if you're hearing this and it sounds like maybe you're a little on the transactional side and not so much on the relational side, here's what fixes it. Intentional, conscious co-creation. So how did me and my wife intentionally co-create? Honestly, it took creating a block of time where we were together and work was set aside, a block of time where we were outside of the normal pressures of life, where there were no operations, no logistics, no problem solving, just one question. Hey honey, what are we gonna make together next? What's on the front burner for us as a team? What are we creating as individuals and as a couple? And as we started to explore that question, get excited about the possibility, something changed, the energy returned. We definitely got synced, our minds and our calendars, but we also got emotionally synced. The issue usually isn't that couples work too much. It's that somewhere along the way, they stop creating together. So if you're building something meaningful, don't just manage life, build together. If you like what you're hearing here, subscribe, like this, share it, and in the meantime, have an amazing day and a fantastic tomorrow.